Welcome to another week of Kona Kids Podcast. We're glad you're here.
Yay!
Keep in mind, your picture is unique and special in its own way. When we say marker, you could be using a pencil or crayons or an iPad. You get to follow along and create your own drawing next to us. We hope you'll share your drawing with us by sending it to Kona Kids. There's information in the episode description for how to send it to us. We would love to see what you create. Let's see what Andee has in store for us today.
Hello, Kona Kids, and welcome to episode 6 of the Kona Kids podcast. If you haven't already listened to episode 5, the resiliency episode, if you can pause this episode and go back to episode 5, resiliency, then you will hear the beginning of the story that we were reading that we're going to finish in this episode today. So that was, again, episode 5, and the title was called Resiliency. If you want to listen to that one first, then this episode 6 will make way more sense, and the story will be much better understood. So for those of you who have listened to episode 5 already, we are going to start listening to the story again about Brooklyn and how she handles the playground drama. Okay, Kona Kids, we are going to do an activity after I'm done reading part 2 of the story that my daughter and I wrote. For this activity, you will need a blank piece of paper and some markers or coloring utensils. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy. You could paint if you want. Or alternatively, I have been putting handouts for those people who don't want to draw from a blank piece of paper on our website. So there's links in the bio or the information of this episode, and it will tell you where to find our website and where to find those handouts so that you could print it out instead of drawing it yourself. So find a comfortable position. We are going to dive back into the book that my daughter and I wrote. We're going to find out what happened with Brooklyn. So if you remember from our last week that we left off with Brooklyn talking to her mom about how she was thinking she might share her feelings with her friends about how she didn't like it that Lucy was taking all of the powers in her game. She had also come home from school sick because she wasn't feeling very well because her animal brain made her feel very anxious at school. So here's the next part of the story. The next day, I was looking forward to sharing with Miss Hoover that what I had picked for my diorama project. That's wonderful, Brooklyn. The Princess in Black books will give you such a number of options to use for your diorama project, she said. When I sat down at my desk, both Allie and Lucy were talking about how they planned to do their projects. I felt calm and kind of excited about their ideas. I was happy that I had made the choice of what I was going to do and started to brainstorm for my own project. This was going to be fun. At recess, Lucy wanted to keep playing where we left off yesterday, when she had announced that she was queen and she would have all of the powers over us in our enchanted forest. But, Allie said, I don't like not having my powers. I want the game to go back to what it originally was, when the queen didn't have all the powers all the time. Okay, fine, Allie. You can have your powers back, but everyone else still needs to go ask me if you want your powers, said Lucy. I'm the queen. I started to speak up, and I said, I want to do what Allie's doing. I want my powers too, I said. Olivia agreed. She wanted her powers as well. No, said Lily. You can come back to the original game tomorrow, but today, Lucy said, I have all the powers. I was feeling a bit of that funny feeling I felt yesterday in my chest. I didn't like the idea of waiting until tomorrow, but I decided that I can be flexible again today and play the game Lucy's way. But first, I decided to do the jumping strategy my mom told me about. I jumped 30 times in one spot, and that feeling in my chest started to go away. I didn't want to miss out, so I started playing with them. We had a fun recess, but I was ready for tomorrow to come because I really liked the game how it originally was. Later that afternoon, my mom picked me up from school and asked, "How was your day today?" She said, "Really good," I said. I told my mom I tried the jumping up and down strategy and it worked really well. I was able to be flexible and play the game the way Lily wanted me to play, and that she promised that tomorrow the game would go back to the way it was at the beginning. The next morning, on the way to school, I was thinking about my powers and how we could play the Enchanted Wood games again. I felt a little unsure in my stomach and started to feel a little sick. I told my mom right away what my stomach felt like. "What are your thoughts right now?" she said. "I'm thinking about Lucy and if she's going to go back to the original game today," I explained. "You're feeling worried about what she might say or do?" she asked. I think so," I said. "I wonder if your animal brain is thinking you're in danger," my mom said. "I think it might. My stomach is feeling really funny again. I'm feeling really hot too," I said, feeling a little upset. "What do you think you would make it feel better?" she asked. "I'm in the car, so I can't jump and down," I thought. "I'm not in the bathroom, so I can't use the cold water trick." I put my hands in front of my body and closed my eyes. I thought about what a purple balloon would be in my hands, and I took some deep breaths, pretending to blow up the balloon. "How are you feeling now?" my mom asked. "Better," I said. "My stomach feeling went away, and I'm not feeling so hot," I said. "What do you think you will do or say to Lily or Lucy today?" my mom asked. Sometimes when we make a plan, our animal brain does not think we're in danger anymore. I'll ask her what we're going to do to go back to the original plan and game and to tell the group how I'm feeling," I said. I felt good to have a plan. When the girls and I were walking to the playground from our classroom, I mentioned, "Today we're playing the game the original way, right? We all have our own powers," I said. "Lucy, you said yesterday we would go back to the original game." Lucy quickly turned around and responded with, "No! If you want your own powers, then you can't play." I felt shocked. I started to feel anger bubble in my body. The feeling came on so fast. That was not what she said yesterday. She lied. I felt a lot of energy in my chest, and my hands made a fist. Why is she kicking me out of the game? She said yesterday we would go back to the way it was. Why was she changing her mind? I didn't know what to do with my body. I felt so many things so quickly. I ran away, so fast across the field, and I found a safe spot behind a tree. There I sat on the ground, and I cried. After a few minutes, I heard footsteps approach me. Olivia came over and sat with me. Olivia was very calm and said that she can help me with Lucy. She said, "Everything's going to be okay, Brooklyn." Olivia offered to help me do something called square breathing, something she had learned in her dance class. She told me when you breathe in, you can count to 4 and breathe out slowly and count to 4. We did it together. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. We did this 2 more times. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. My body felt much calmer. Olivia and I walked over to Lucy, Allie, and Sophie, who were all playing the game again. They had decided while we were gone that they were all princesses and they were all ruling the kingdom. "I agree with Brooklyn. We should all have our own powers back," Olivia announced. Lucy said, "We've started a new game and you aren't allowed to play. Just me, Sophie, and Allie." That was hurtful. I was feeling that really sad. I was feeling rejected and angry. Lucy was just trying to boss everyone around.
Olivia turned and said to me, "It's okay, we'll play our own game today." I had that feeling in my throat again like I might cry, so I practiced breathing like Olivia had shown me. Breathing in, counting to 4, breathing out, slowly counting to 4. Olivia and I decided that we would go play on the monkey bars for the rest of recess today. That night when I got home, I told my mom all about the game and how Lucy changed it again. My mom and I talked about how I haven't shared with Lucy how I'm feeling, how I'm feeling when she's making these choices. "It sounds to me like Lucy has a lot of power in the group right now," my mom said. "Yeah, I don't like that feeling," I said. "She's being really unfair." "Who decided that Lucy should have all the power?" my mom asked. "I don't know," I said. "I wonder if you can keep your own power and make your own choices. It sounds to me like you're giving Lucy a lot of the power and of how the game should go and how you're feeling," she said. "Well, how do I keep my own power?" I asked. "Well, sometimes, like we talked about, we have to be flexible and compromise. Sometimes we need to make choices that are fair for everyone. We need to decide if we are okay with the choices that are being made, and if we are not, we need to make a choice to do something different," she explained. "Okay," I said. "So I can either be flexible and compromise and play the game, or if I don't like that, I can go play my own game?" "Exactly," my mom said. "It's just that I don't want to miss out on the game, but I also don't like being bossed around." "It sounds like you have a choice to make," she said. "No one can make you feel anything. You get to make your choices about how you feel about something and how you behave," she said. I had been giving Lucy all the power to decide the game and decide how I felt. I decided tomorrow I would talk to her about how I'm feeling and let her know that the game is not fun right now for everyone. The next day, Olivia and I talked about how we were not liking our new game being left out of the princess game. We talked about how we are going to be with the group and not separate. We both agreed that we needed to plan a new plan and to try to play with the whole group again. "I want to play with the whole group again, but I also don't want to be bossed around by Lucy," I said to Olivia. "Me too. It's just not fair. I wonder if we had a vote then for which game we would like to play. Then it is fair and everyone gets to say what they think," Olivia said. "Good idea. We can vote if people want to have their own powers or if they want Lucy to have their powers," I said. Olivia and I decided that this was the best plan ahead. Olivia and I approached Lucy, Sophie, and Allie at recess. Olivia and I explained that we were feeling left out and hurt by how the game had changed without anyone getting a fair say in how we were playing. "I'm feeling really left out, and I'm not wanting to miss out on playing with you," Olivia said. "I was feeling angry when you told me I couldn't have my own powers and that Lucy had to play a different game," I said. "Brooklyn and I were thinking that we should vote on it. Those who want to have their own powers, raise your hand," Olivia said. Sophie, Allie, and Olivia and I raised our hands in agreement that we would have our own powers when we played the game. Lucy crossed her arms and made a very mad face. Olivia said, "Okay, so 4 out of 5 of us want to go back to the original game where we have our own powers." Lucy kept her arms crossed with a very angry face, and she ran away and ran over to the duty teacher. I felt a tight feeling inside my chest. I didn't know what Lucy was saying, but I felt really anxious, like we were going to get in trouble for something. I saw the duty teacher walking out towards us with Lucy, who looked very upset and was crying. I tried to use that square breathing technique that Olivia had taught me. Breathe in, 1, 2. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. The duty teacher approached us and said, "We need a meeting. It sounds like Lucy is really upset. She's saying there's some bullying happening here." Bullying? Was Lucy saying we were bullying her? We were not bullying her. What if the duty teacher thinks that I'm a mean bully? This is terrible. I felt so nervous and my stomach started to really hurt again. I felt like I had before. and I started to cry. Okay, Kona kids, we're going to stop there. We'll find out more what happens to Brooklyn, Lucy, Allie, and Sophia and Olivia in the next episode. Right now, we are going to turn our brains on and do a little activity on our blank piece of paper that is going to help us better understand our body when we are feeling anxious. So in the middle of your paper, or alternatively, I have put some samples or worksheets on our website. If you go into the description in the podcast episode, you can see a link to our website. And if you click on Season 1, Episode 6, Body Sensations, you can find a worksheet. For those of you who don't want to do a worksheet and you want to just have a blank piece of paper, that works too. So what we're going to do is on our blank piece of paper is we are going to draw a stick man, or if you want, I kind of call them a bubble man. Draw a circle for his head, circle for the body, and then two straight legs coming down, and maybe some circles for the feet. And then on the side of the body, you can draw two straight arms, kind of like you're drawing a snowman with arms and legs with circles for hands and feet and the core body and the head. So what we're going to do on our piece of paper is we are going to think about what it's like when Brooklyn got really upset and sort of ran away from the group, that flood of emotion she felt in her body. And when Brooklyn learned that the duty teacher was coming over to sort of sort out the problem between Lucy and the rest of the girls. So what Brooklyn described feeling was very anxious. So her body, her heart was beating more, her chest felt different, her stomach felt different. She was feeling really nervous. And she was trying everything to calm her body down by doing some breathing, counting to 4, doing some jumping jacks, or jumping on the spot like her mom had suggested the day before. Brooklyn was trying very hard to use up that anxiety that she was feeling. And so what we're going to do right now on this worksheet is we're going to talk about, or you guys are going to draw on your worksheet, where you feel these sensations the most. So if you're able to draw a heart, where you think the heart should be on your body, and then behind the heart, I'm going to draw sort of like two sort of balloons. They don't have to be accurate about what a lung looks like. You can draw a lung if you know what it looks like. I typically just draw some balloons kind of beside or behind the heart. Make it kind of look like a bunch of balloons together, but in the middle is a heart. So these things are representing our heart and our lungs. So our lungs are a little bit like balloons sometimes. When we breathe in and out, they change their shape, they kind of stretch, and then they deflate. The other area I want you to try and draw on your person is your eyes, maybe your nose and your mouth. You can draw sort of what you think your mouth would look like if you're feeling really anxious. Some people look sort of scared when that's happening. Some people, when they feel anxious, they sometimes get the giggles. It's like they don't know what to do, so they just start laughing. And that's okay. Sometimes it can be awkward because it might not be the right time or place for it, but that's okay. Your body is just trying to get rid of some energy. On your hands, I want you to draw, if you're able to, little drops of water. Can anyone draw little drops of water, kind of teardrop looking things on both your hands? Because sometimes when we get really anxious, our body can sometimes get really sweaty. And there's two more things I want you to draw on your person here. So one is your stomach. So for your stomach, I like to draw sort of just like a little bit of an oval that sort of looks like a balloon that's losing its air. So kind of wiggly, kind of oval, where my stomach would be in my body.
And then the other one I want you to draw, it's kind of silly actually. So I kind of draw a bit of like what looks like a watering can where you think in your body your bladder might be. So sometimes when people feel anxious, the body gives them a jump start of adrenaline. And adrenaline is something that helps our body to keep us really safe. So it helps us run away from danger. It helps us get out of situations. It helps us to tell us when maybe we're not doing the right thing and we need to stop. It helps us to know that something's unfamiliar or different. And so sometimes when this emotion comes up, it can be really uncomfortable because we feel it so physically. So it's a very normal, very healthy emotion. And the feelings, the physical feelings we start to feel when we're feeling anxious can sometimes feel really uncomfortable, but we can be assured that that is what our body is meant to do. It is meant to do all of these things that's happening. And we're going to learn throughout this episode and the last one and the next one how we can kind of get rid of that adrenaline feeling, because it doesn't feel very good sometimes. Sometimes it feels great. Have you ever been really excited to go somewhere and got really, really silly and jumped up and down and couldn't wait to get somewhere and you're just so excited about it? That's the same feeling. It's the same physical reaction that your body's having. It's just that when we're thinking about it, it's a really positive thing we're thinking about. When we are anxious, it's typically something we're feeling unsure or we're not as confident. So we interpret the physical feeling very differently. And so what I want you to do on your little guy here that you drew, I want you to take some time and color in or circle or sort of fill in other places in the body where you may feel anxiousness, and kind of draw your little person. And while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about each little area of the body. So when we get that little bit of adrenaline, our body does some shuffling. It happens very, very quickly. So it shuffles blood around. So blood is kind of like the way the body communicates things. It brings things from one part of the body to the other, and it's kind of like a highway of things that are really important for our body to have. So when we eat food, then our blood starts to take all the nutrients from the food. So, and it takes it all around your body to the areas of your body that you need it. So, let's say my grandma always used to tell me that carrots are good for my eyes. So if I eat some carrots and then as my body's digesting it, the nutrients or the vitamins from the carrots will leave my intestine. They'll go through the highway of blood vessels through my body and somehow get to my eyes. And maybe they're important or maybe they're not. Or maybe my grandma was just trying to get me to eat carrots. I don't know. But when we're really anxious, we don't need to be digesting food. So our body starts to send that blood up to our lungs and our heart. And it does this really, really quickly because it's trying to fill that blood with as much oxygen, the air we breathe, as possible. So oxygen is a little bit like energy for our muscles. So then it takes the blood from our lungs and our heart and it takes it all the way down to our leg muscles, because if we were in real danger, we would want to be able to run away. So like Brooklyn ran away in that story, her body just sort of flooded with this big emotion and her body did what it does naturally. It ran. And then when she got to a place where she felt calm, she did the other thing the body does when it's very naturally, is she started to cry. And she started to cry to release some of the energy, which is also very healthy and okay to do. So when we are in this state, sometimes what Brooklyn's mom suggested she should do is jump up and down. So her mom was suggesting that she use some of that adrenaline to help get it out of her body. Some people like to shake it off, kind of shake their hands, swing their arms, go for a walk, do a little run, sprint from one place to another. And some people feel really calm when they focus inward on their breathing. And then they do things like breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, breathing out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each person and each situation sometimes is a little different. So as we go through this series and as you listen to the Kona Kids podcast, there'll be lots of different tools and strategies that you can use, because sometimes you might want to jump up and down, and sometimes you might want to sit and really focus on your breath. There's no right or wrong answer, and sometimes we have to try a few things first before we start to feel that calmness again. So when you're done drawing and coloring in your human and sort of identifying where it is you feel anxious, when you feel anxious. So for me, when I feel anxious, I often feel it in my lungs. I feel my lungs don't feel like I can get enough air in them, and sometimes that's really uncomfortable. So for me, I often will do something physical. I need to move around and swing my arms and start to feel. But what my mind knows now is when I start to feel that feeling, I can name it. I can say, wow, I'm feeling really anxious right now because of this, whatever that is causing the anxiety for me. We are not anxious people. We are in situations that can cause anxiety. So we just have to always remember that when we're talking about feelings of anxiety, that you are not anxiety. You are a human who feels anxiety in certain situations. So that's really helpful when we go through the next episode, to remember that you are a whole person made up with hundreds and hundreds of emotions every day, and that anxiety is just one of them. Okay, Kona Kids, that's the end of episode 6. Tune in next week for the third part of the 3-part series about feelings of anxiety.
This podcast is created in Canada by Kona Kids. Your host is Andee Dale, a registered clinical counselor. Please remember this is for entertainment and educational purposes and not clinical advice. Thanks for listening. I hope you tune in next week.